afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, आदाब वर्ज, नमस्ते, स्वागत है आपका हैशटैग Unocoin AMA में। मेरा नाम है आरजे रश्मि शर्मा, I handle communication here at Unocoin and मेरे साथ है सात्विक। It is a very thrilling event to host you every Thursday, every Tuesday. Thursdays are very important and very intriguing and exciting क्योंकि आपसे बात करने का मौका मिलता है, but at the same time, this is not a usual Thursday. सबसे पहली बात तो the topic that we have chosen for this particular hashtag AMA Unocoin is one of the juiciest topic that you would find across internet, across globe, and in the sector of cryptocurrencies. Can I be a crypto millionaire? Can somebody become a crypto millionaire? Is it a myth or is it actually a fact? First thing, तो मतलब हम हमेशा we always talk about cryptocurrency is not a get rich quick scheme. You have to do your own research. You need to take into consideration the different research that you do, your personal and investment related goals you have in mind, what you want to achieve, and all sort of stuff. But when I talk about still people searching out, it is basically how to make money and how to achieve that financial freedom. So the topic is one of the most amazing one, and I think I would expect a lot of questions around this. In fact, I have so many questions around the topic myself. That is one. But as I said, that this is not any other Thursday. It is a special one. क्यों? क्योंकि आज की तारीख है 4 December 2022 and RBI plan to launch its first pilot retail digital rupee today. And so many different banks also wish to participate. Banks like SBI, banks like ICICI Bank, IDFC First Bank also wish to participate. There are so many other banks as well. So in case you have questions related to retail digital rupee, the pilot, maybe related to frameworks or regulations, you could ask your questions. There are certain guidelines for this event, but before I take you through the guidelines, I first would like to thank you for joining us on Twitter, on Facebook, on LinkedIn, and on YouTube. If you haven't subscribed to any of the channel, any of the platforms, please like, follow, subscribe. And if you think that this particular topic is going to be beneficial to you or anybody in your friend circle, you could share the link of the YouTube or Twitter to your community members so that they also can join. Together with me is Sathvik. Sathvik needs no introduction. First and the foremost thing, Sathvik, how are you?
I'm doing good. How about you?
I am absolutely fine. I just feel like Sachin on the pitch. It's my playground and I want to enjoy this 1 hour thoroughly. Mm-hmm. So I'll just quickly go through the announcement that we have, if you allow. Sure. So this aim is going to be for 1 hour. Please do not be hesitant. The entire mode of this aim is going to be social media channel of Unocoin. That is one. In case you wish to ask doubt around how to achieve financial freedom or how to become a crypto millionaire or how could one become a crypto millionaire, or if it is a myth or not, or anything related to retail digital rupee, you could ask your questions in a textual form. Whichever handle or page you have joined us from, you could ask your questions in the form of a comment. All those questions would come to me here. And मैंने पहले ही बोला था सात्विक को कि I am going to expect Sachin Kumar's comment here, and it's so wonderful to take questions or comments from Sachin. So, Sachin जी, मैं आपको तहे दिल से धन्यवाद करना चाहती हूँ और आपके जितने भी भाई बंधु हैं जिनको लगता है कि ये ट्विटर स्पेसेस उनके लिए भी बहुत काम का होने वाला है, सात्विक से उनको डायरेक्टली आंसर्स मिल सकते हैं, तो उनको फटाफट से ना ये वाला लिंक जो है वो शेयर कर दीजिए. सो वी कम्युनिकेट इन हिंदी, इंग्लिश, पर सात्विक आंसर कर सकते हैं तेलुगु और कन्नड़ा में भी. तो इन केस यू हैव डाउट, इनफैक्ट आप उस लैंग्वेज में कमेंट करके लिख भी सकते हैं. तो लास्ट बट नॉट द लीस्ट एक और छोटा सा अनाउंसमेंट हम यहाँ पर करेंगे, एंड दैट अनाउंसमेंट इज इफ यू stand by for the entire AMA, if you ask questions, if my internal teams like your questions or maybe your comment, whatever, you could win 10,000 Shiba Inu. So out of all the audiences who are present here as of now, 2 of the lucky winners, 2 of the audience member would be chosen by my team, and after the AMA, my team will reach out to you directly. तो अपना कोई भी personal data information आपको share नहीं करनी है. Please, हमारे internal team will come to you directly. तो विदाउट मच अडू हम फिर से शुरुआत जो है अब करते हैं. फाइनली सात्विक कैसा लग रहा है?
Amazing. Good to be sitting here, and the topic looks quite interesting to me.
It's actually very interesting. तो मैं ना this is my question, ठीक है? I want to be करोड़पति, but I don't want to marry a करोड़पति. How can I become a करोड़पति all by myself with the help of crypto? This is me, not an Unocoin employee, asking a general question.
No, see, the I would say if you are looking for that kind of fortune, that also comes with at least that much or much bigger risks. Okay. So now it will be up to the individual to what extent they can take the risk. Lot of the so-called crypto millionaires, I know quite a few, when they started crypto, they actually had nothing much to lose. That was their first thing, right? So all they had was, let's say, couple of lakh rupees or 1 lakh rupees or 50,000 rupees. They know that it is not going to change their life anyway, forever, right? So they would have taken that leap of faith to say, okay, fine, let me see what this can happen here and have put. And for a lot of them, it has worked in their favor. But when you start looking at investing into something like crypto with the right mindset, like a trader, then that kind of impulse investments won't happen. It will happen in a much calculated way. Obviously, doing that kind of, I mean, like impulse reactions to do something big and losing all of it, that risk is high, significantly high, right? So there are people who would go for like 10x or 100x leverage to see, okay, if it works, it works. It doesn't work, it doesn't work. But maybe out of their 1,000 rupees that they have, they may be doing it for 1 or 2 rupees. But the biggest risk are the one who have taken that 1,000 rupees itself as loan, or maybe is putting all his 1,000 rupees that he has, right? So again, it comes down to you as a person. If you say like, okay, everything is messed up in the life, how to should I whenever let me see if this works in my favor. And right now, I think if you just invest in something like Bitcoin and that multiplying by 100 or something like that is like very, very rare event. Definitely not the short term. So you would be taking much bigger risk of doing into something which is like a newly born altcoins or something like that, right? And hope it goes. And most of the time it goes, right? So that's it. That's a tricky challenge here. You should not start with the intention that you want to become a millionaire, but you have to slowly, one step at a time, grow towards it. There will be a lot of steps where you will end up taking backwards as well. But over a period of time, if you continue progressing slowly, maybe 3 years, 5 years, 10 years down the line, there is a good chance. And in the last 10 years, definitely there was chances. But if I talk on those lines, there were chances in every investment industry. Retrospectively, if I see equity, I can say that, okay, if you had bought your crypto or your equity at this point of time, like blue chip companies, and sold it at here, you would have made that kind of money. I can also talk about the same thing on crypto. If you buy it here and sell it here, you could. But you cannot always talk about retrospectively, right? So the only thing I would see it quite different in crypto as compared to say something like equity markets is you will make or break faster. So the timeline of you losing the money or making the money is compressed. So if you think that is what you are looking for right now and that time is like super important, then yeah, maybe. And I have seen nowadays even the wealth managers suggesting up to 5% of exposure to something like crypto is a good idea. But, yeah.
I have certain questions from the answers that you have given, but I think we have so many comments that I would like to take. Oh, amazing. Okay. Sachin Kumawat, is that possible? Sachin Kumawat ji, what is possible? Please आप बता दीजिए.
Becoming a crypto millionaire. Or is it a myth? Your question itself, and is it a myth?
So see, there are people who ask this. As I said, it's a very juicy topic, and I can talk. I can have the same question and I can ask you the same question
10 times, and I can answer in 10 different ways.
Yes,
but
yes,
okay.
Yes. So yes, Ja Queen Weather, hello. कोई रिच नहीं हुआ मैं 4 लाख. Okay, आकाश का भी यहाँ पर मैसेज है. सचिन, where I buy retail digital rupee and it's similar grow like crypto. सचिन जी, आप अगर हिंदी में सवाल पूछना चाहें तो आप पूछ लीजिए. आपने पहले भी हिंदी में सवाल पूछा हुआ है. क्या होता है कि हिंदी में सवाल पूछने से फटाफट समझ में आ जाता है मुझे भी और सब्जेक्ट मैटर एक्सपर्ट को भी. आप हिंदी में सवाल पूछिए. Where I buy retail digital rupee, where can I buy digital retail rupee, and is it similar? Does it grow similarly like crypto? Is basically what he's asking.
Okay, see, the retail digital rupee is not like an asset class by itself.
Okay.
And it is not, if you are looking at it as a rupee, like linked to a rupee, it is not volatile also.
Hmm.
So if I have 100 rupees of Paytm cash, does it grow like crypto? It is a balance in your wallet,
Hmm.
like how you would also have balance in your bank account.
Hmm.
So it is not a speculative instrument.
Hmm.
Okay, and every rupee is exactly 1 rupee. The reason why government is launching the retail digital e-rupee, they call it, is not because they want people to speculate. The people who actually speculate on crypto is what, maybe like 0.1%, 0.2% in India. They wanted to bring for helping people to make digital transactions faster and easier. That's all. They obviously, it's nothing about crypto or making money or losing money. So I think over a period of time, we will start seeing the banks which can start supplying this kind of e-rupee where you pay them, right? So then one, like how today I can use my bank account to load my Paytm wallet. You eventually will be able to load your e-rupee wallet by using online banking, very likely. That is just like one another bank account, but that is now completely managed by the central bank, which in our case is Reserve Bank of India, and people will be able to do the transactions. So it will only help you transact. It is not like a money making opportunity. It will be subject to the same inflations and everything
Hmm.
there, right? So just instead of holding it physically or in the bank, this is just like one another way of holding it.
Hmm. Okay, we have Sheikh Altaf Sheikh Ghaffar ji. Hi, SV Shoot Ray. Akash ji, hmm, हमारा नाम भी ले लो मैम. आकाश जी नमस्ते. सागर रोजा जी. Akash ji, in case you have any questions related to the topic, please let us know. I think comment of course हमें बहुत अच्छे लग रहे हैं आपके. पर अगर आपका कोई स्पेशल सवाल है जो सात्विक आंसर कर सकते हैं, मैं आपसे यही विनती करूंगी कि आप ऐसे मौके को गवाइए नहीं. अच्छा सा सवाल पूछिए, मैं आपको पक्का 10,000 शिवा आयन दे दूंगी अपनी टीम से बात करके. पर सात्विक के लिए बहुत अच्छा सा सवाल आपको देना पड़ेगा, ठीक है? तो ऐसे आप रैंडमली कुछ भी कमेंट नहीं कीजिए. तो ओके, सो देयर आर, ओके, सचिन जी का एक और सवाल है, वेयर वी इन्वेस्ट टू बिकम मिलियनेयर, लार्ज कैप, स्मॉल कैप, चीप कॉइन, इज व्हाट इज ही आस्किंग?
There's one joke I remember, right? So when someone gets when it starts into crypto, that is like one of the first questions that they're like, when millionaire? They have only started like yesterday also, or maybe 1 week ago. That's the big. That is like such a misunderstanding. It's a huge misunderstanding. If someone has got into a crypto industry to have some exposure, they think that okay, this guy just want to make money, is getting into it, right? And it has actually become like that for various reasons. Maybe the growth was kind of in line with that and such. So how do you make $1 million in crypto? The answer was if you start with $1 billion. Okay, so okay, so what was this question again? How do we make $1 million? Right? So yeah, again, in like in every other industry, there is also ways in which you can make it with the right mindset, and sometimes where you actually want to cheat people, right? There are more. I mean, if you see the businesses that gets created around crypto, nowadays it looks like more than half of it they create it with an intention that they want to service. That's one thing. But when they figure out that it's getting tougher, they cheat the system, right? So there is no such a company or service where you can think that the this kind of issue would never ever happen. It's not true. Like how sometimes the bank will have issues, sometimes any other company can have issues. It's the same with the crypto companies as well. But here again, it comes to okay, whomever you're trusting, is it like trustworthy? How much money you can invest? How much money you can entrust? and if you lose, what it means, right? So every time such trust gets hampered, we have actually seen the entire industry a little bit suffering also. So let's say if it is FTX issue that we had like a couple of weeks back, irrespective of whether I have money in FTX or not, I was also a victim just because the so-called the industry image suffered, and then the crypto prices suffered, right? And now people will start thinking, yes, even if it is Unocoin, like what if even that has some issues like this? Is it and what does it mean when next step and such? We will obviously give some assurances of like how we handle the things, but in fact, even FTX gave the similar assurances even a few days before a few weeks before the issue. So now the assurance also, like what is the real work of that assurance, or is it just like the words, right? So when it comes to making millions, I have seen people who made millions just by raising money and creating a protocol and trying to serve the industry. Some of them have become not even just millions, or tens of millions, or hundreds of millions also they have made in the past. And then there are people who have created like some kind of pyramid schemes, multi-level marketing schemes, and figured out, okay, saying that this is what I want to do. Some of them even run today. Some of them have not really cheated the system and such, but it's always risky, right? Because one person is getting the money that is paid by another person to become a part of member of the same system. But if it comes to actually becoming a millionaire by staying invested without where you are not asking someone to trust you, you are only using your money and such, it's obviously a slow process. But the past has shown that there is definitely a possibility in a shorter span of time. You don't need to wait like 30 years to go from maybe like 10 lakh rupees to $1 million. Right? So that has happened, and that particular opportunity is there where, depending upon the risk someone is taking, either it will fast forward the way you make money, or the fast forward the way you lose money. So it comes in like one with the other. So in the bull market, things always look good, but in the bear market, it's all different. Some of the businesses that are built thinking that it's work during like when it was a bull market will significantly and tragically fail when the bear market like what we have turns up. So it is up to the user to see, okay, fine, I just stay invested. I'll wait for 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, whatever it is one way. Or else, okay, this is where I want to invest my time and efforts to see if I can create some fortune for myself because it's a new booming industry. That's another way, right? So whenever a new industry turns up, it actually comes up with lot of opportunities. It opens the doors, right? So, but eventually it will come down to whether the industry itself sustains or not. Also, that is like one of the questions. And if it does, what the person did and what the risk or efforts or time that he has put and what has made him whatever returns or whatever he is able to get, right? But I would say, instead of calling it as a when you'll become a millionaire, can you make profit kind of thing, right? So whether you're directly involved or not, I think this as an industry will bring a lot of good things to everyone's life if it is successful the way it is being, the way it's going eventually. You know, if it becomes like the de facto method for people to do the transactions online, which could be another 5 or 10 years down the line, right? So, I mean, everyone is a beneficiary, but to a certain extent. But whether like how many millionaires will come up, that's a question. And now, even if you make millionaire, you'll still become 700K. You'll be left with because you pay 30% taxes.
So I'm not talking about I mean, in India, I'm talking about maybe Dubai, maybe Australia, maybe Germany, El Salvador.
Sure, I think some people have seen them leaving the country for various reasons, including one of the reasons being taxation and such, right? But I think India has a lot to gain with
What about
crypto as well.
Indians?
Yeah, India has a lot to gain, and how much of the efforts and time that we put, how much of resilience that we have, how much of patience that we have matters here, right? So, India, I mean, having this industry growing, keeping alive and growing in India, like I said, we are all would eventually become beneficiaries.
Mm.
But if you are looking for the extremes, like I'm talking about, then avoiding taxes and seeing like in other places there are more customers we can serve, etc. Obviously, as an individual, it may draw you out of the country. But as a country, I think it has its own pace at which it will support a new technology like this and continue going forward.
Mm. We have more questions coming up. You were talking about the bull run and the bear run, right? I mean, we actually have a question that when can we expect the bull run? Graham M has put that question. हमने लास्ट टाइम ये जो लास्ट डे में किया था ग्राहम विद सनी रे हु इज प्रेसिडेंट ऑफ Unocoin, हमने यही बात की थी कि 2024 में do we expect a bull run and is Bitcoin halving synonymous to the bull run or bull run synonymous to Bitcoin halving cycle? So maybe you could just reiterate what Sunny has said, or maybe put whatever comments you have.
See, bull run, in simple words, will happen when a specific set of, I would say, a sector of investors think that okay, this is the next best thing for them, right? So I think when it was the bull run in 2013, it was more like people who are in technology, and so those were the ones who are looking at like a very small set of people. I think in 2017 bull run, we were quite able to drag a good amount of retail investors. And in 2021 bull run, it was a lot of corporates and hedge funds. Even it could be Apple or Microsoft, or then it's Tesla. So all of them, they were always alive, but they made only noise about crypto only in 2021 bull run.
Mm.
So now the question will be, who will be the next sector of people who will enter into the crypto for the first time? So who are still waiting today? And at what kind of time will it be lucrative for them to enter? Because the bull run means people want it, right? So there is more demand for it, and that's how the price increases. It will keep going up because there's more and more people want it, right? So I think if you see the cycles 13, 17, 21, it should next be like 25 or 24, 25, right? So again, it depends upon the halving cycles and a lot of other factors also. But it's also possible that it may not be like a super bull run at one shot, but steadily it will continue to hold its good prices for a longer time, and it will continue to increase and such. So what is next? Obviously we cannot decide based upon the data or the performance of the past.
Mm.
So that we definitely cannot do. But my still question will be: so who is that who is getting it? Will it be like governments who now wants Bitcoin and now government start buying it? Or because we already have Teslas and who, I mean, like few of them. I mean, obviously we're talking about like less than 1% of the companies, right? So who got some exposure nationally, internationally. So does it mean the remaining 99% having some kind of interest? So that's definitely a good possibility. And then we'll have to start thinking like who is next, like political parties, maybe, right? So or else maybe like I said, governments.
Or people or industrialists who are running governments.
They come together with it, I guess. So yeah, so it should be at that level, right? So, but I think the next one will be more corporates itself. I think so. It may not go beyond that because this is like as of today, what it's a $7 trillion opportunity, a full entire industry with everything combined. So it may not be that lucrative yet for a lot of really deep pocketed governments or guys, right? So for me, it looks like the next will be the rest of the corporates and obviously all other ones who are already into the boat combined. Maybe in a year and a half or two, it could be like that, or maybe 4.5 years. But then eventually, maybe in another 6, 7 years, it could be the rest. So I mean, the worst case we'll be anticipating one bull run, or the best case maybe two. That's what it looks like to me.
In 2024?
No.
2024
in the
plus
future.
in the future. Which means plus 8, like 1 plus 4 years in 5 years?
Yeah, it could 2 plus 4 years, 2 plus 3 years, whatever it is, right? So So you'll actually have to start. I mean, like people are talking about how one Bitcoin could become $10 million and such. That kind of money is not there in the world to invest into such kind of thing yet, right? So, and that kind of interest is also not there, and I cannot see how it will go to something like that unless it is something really, really drastic happening. You will have to have like governments falling out, economies of various countries, even developed countries failing, inflation peaking. So there's like so many really, really bad things should happen if you actually want to see something like that. Uh, so I don't think the present systems that has continued to exist will ever be that bad, at least in the next foreseeable future. So to me, maybe in another one or two bull runs would definitely be there, and then it will be more like equity markets. It will be comparatively becoming stable, and at a price at which we are talking about, like plus maybe few x times of what it is right now. Uh, it will have more cushion, right? So for these kinds of global news. So, for example, when Lehman Brothers had an issue in 2008, not every bank suffered. Some banks related to it did have some sort. But right now, I think for some of the big news like FTX and such, global crypto market actually is reacting. So eventually, it should grow to an extent where it is like a small issue, 3-5% of 1 or 2% drop in a day, and it's back to normal kind of thing. So right now, we still are in that effect, right? So 2022K was the normal for Bitcoin, and now it is at 16, 17. So that effect actually is because of chain reactions that started with FTX, right? So it has taken weeks together. So eventually, I want to see a day, right, like where any kind of news will, the impact that it can bring is very little. Then we will start looking at it as more stability, and then people start talking about how it can be used like a currency and such. So right now, it is just a growing time, growing phase.
I have so many questions based on your answers today. I feel like, asking my own personal questions, but we have so many. Mr. Khan, I could not actually see pinned comments, but I would just take whatever is on the top. Um, maybe I could take Sachin's question. कौन से कॉइन बेस्ट हैं जिसकी सप्लाई इन्फिनिटी होती है लाइक TRX या वो कॉइन जिसकी लिमिटेड सप्लाई होती है लाइक बिटकॉइन? नाइस क्वेश्चन. हर हमेशा 10,000 शिबा आएंगे, आप ही लेके जाएंगे क्या?
See, however, here I think it depends upon the people who are, if it is you're talking about TRX, whoever are running it, right? So, what are their ideas? What is their vision? What they want to do? So today, in fact, Indian rupees or dollars is like technically speaking, infinite supply. But is it bad? I don't think so. They have their own rules of how they want to do it, right? But when it comes to BTC, the good thing is no one is controlling it. Compared to it is like really, really the best possibly as of today decentralized on this Bitcoin. So due to which, if they want to trust on a foundation, they should be more looking at TRX and such things. But again, it comes with comparatively higher risks. If you compare it with BTC, the BTC is much more decentralized. So no one is even thinking of changing anything. And even if someone thinks of it, it doesn't work anyway. That's the good thing, I guess. So it's about two corners of risk appetite. So, but if someone randomly comes and asks like, okay, fine, I want to get into crypto and I have 1,000 rupees out of my how many ever lakhs, and only the 1,000 they want to invest in crypto and how they want to do it, I would suggest okay, maybe 30, 40 or 30, 35, 40% should be in BTC, and then next 20% should be in various new blockchains that are coming up, like ADA or other such ones. And then the rest maybe they can play around with other tokens which are more experimental. So they are designed in such a way. And why I always talk about BTC is, let's say if they screw up everything else, there's a good chance that over a period of time, at least the Bitcoin will bring them back the 1,000 rupees, whatever they invested in total, right? So if the price becomes even 2 times, which most of times it has happened in the past, so they'll at least be able to take home whatever they didn't put on the table. So that's like good, and that is I think the safe way, which comes with the not having enough returns. Right. So if you want to play it safe, I think yeah, some 40% should be in Bitcoin and some 20, another 15% should be in Ether, and next some 15-20% in various other protocols, and remaining play around. कुछ भी हो जाए, so at least you'll take home something. It can't be zero.
हम यहाँ पर थोड़े से छोटे से ब्रेक के लिए रुकेंगे और बिफोर आई कम बैक एक छोटा सा अनाउंसमेंट यहाँ पर सबसे पहले तो कि द टॉपिक इज वेरी जूसी, इट्स वेरी अमेजिंग, पीपल लाइक टू टॉक अबाउट इट and there has to be so many times where I have to repeat or the subject matter expert have to repeat that crypto products are still unregulated and could be highly volatile and you need to do your own research before investing. So ये जो एक PS, this disclaimer should always be there for the rest of the session we have and for the session we have already done. ये please keep in mind while you invest in cryptocurrency or consider cryptocurrency as a digital asset and an asset class. हम एक छोटे से ब्रेक के लिए रुक रहे हैं. ब्रेक में आप एक बहुत अच्छी सी एड एंजॉय कीजिए, उसके बाद हम आते हैं और आपके बहुत अमेजिंग कमेंट्स लेंगे.
आज बाबूजी के आशीर्वाद से हमने अपनी नई शुरुआत तो कर ली, पर अपना फ्यूचर प्लान कैसे करें?
बड़े बड़े शहरों में ऐसी छोटी छोटी बातें होती रहती हैं.
Looking for perfect start? Get a Bitcoin today. Download the Unocoin app.
Crypto products are unregulated and could be highly volatile. Please be aware of the risks before investing.
जब मैं तेरी उम्र का था ना, तो एक सक्सेसफुल करियर, लॉन्ग टर्म प्लानिंग सब रेडी करके रख चुका था. और एक इन महाराज को देखो, पूरा दिन फोन में लगा रहेगा.
दैट प्लानिंग तो मैंने भी कर रखी है Unocoin के साथ.
नए जमाने के साथ नई चीजें आजमाएं. Looking for Bitcoin? Download the Unocoin app.
Crypto products are unregulated and could be highly volatile. Please be aware of the risks before investing.
Guys, we really need to work hard. This wasn't a good quarter. Tell me, are you happy with this?
Yes! Unocoin.
Want to earn Bitcoin? Just grab your phone and shake it. Download the Unocoin app.
Crypto products are unregulated and could be highly volatile. Please be aware of the risks before investing.
नमस्कार दोस्तों, स्वागत है आपका फिर से Unocoin AMA में. मेरा नाम है लक्ष्मी शर्मा एंड मेरे साथ है सात्विक विश्वनाथ एज अ सब्जेक्ट मैटर एक्सपर्ट. हम बात कर रहे हैं, वी वर टॉकिंग अबाउट can crypto millionaire, the concept of crypto millionaire exist, or can I be a crypto millionaire, or is it a myth? But we were also taking questions around CBDC, around digital virtual assets, around taxations, rules, regulations, frameworks, and anything crypto. ठीक है, तो बहुत मजा आ रहा था मुझे तो बात करके सात्विक से, और आपके बहुत सारे कमेंट्स है. We have actually parked a lot of comments. I would request Mr. Khan to put a question in front of me. तब तक मैं एक question Thomas Fernandez का already जो है मेरे सामने वो ले लूंगी. Thomas Fernandez asked, please start SBP in all coins on Unocoin, and also make an SBP on Unocoin for Paxo.
The Paxo one, I definitely see it to be a good idea because the Paxo gold, which actually have the way it works is there is a real gold in the vault, and they are releasing the tokens based upon that gold, so it can be traded and such. And it is not new for people in India to invest like 1,000, 2,000 rupees in jewelry shops to get the gold at the end of 1 year, 2 years, kind of thing, right? So that has actually existed forever, and I actually see a point, like why not? But sure, I definitely will take up that. We will take that up to see like what we can do. Interesting comment.
Abhi, the first winner for 10,000 Shiba and you is Mr. Thomas Fernandez. My team will reach out to you, and since you are on YouTube, we do not have any credential of yours, so maybe you could share your Twitter handle so that my team can reach out to you, because otherwise we will not be able to find you. And one more request, not to share any kind of confidential information related to your Unocoin account, your wallet or whatever, because of course the industry is very sensitive and there is a lot of noise and signals are very few. We have another question again from JP. JP sir. JP sir, लिखते हैं sir, any plan to start crypto trading in Unocoin?
Copy trading. Okay.
I'm so sorry, copy trading, my bad.
I was really like, what do you mean by trading? Because we always do it.
We always do. Yeah.
So the concept of copy trading is like, so you select one as your role model of doing the trading. I don't trade, okay, no. So now you start, so you just, once you start following them, then the same trades that they are doing will also happen on the person's account also, right? So we definitely have plans for that. We have that as a part of our roadmap in 2023. So let's say by another 4 or 5 months, we will actually eventually see that live. But yeah, we definitely, that's actually the next thing that we plan.
On the similar lines, would you like to talk about the sub-broker program we have, or you would like to tease, or you would like to just
Sure.
open the curtain?
Sure. So, I mean, we have come up with this concept called sub broker, because that's actually the way a lot of people who are maybe older than 50 years or so, who are not so tech savvy, do trade the equities, right? So even if it was my father, it has to be my father. So he will have a person whom he will call, and that we call it as a broker, like equity broker. And he is usually either kind of with ILFS or Motilal or like few other such kind of firms, where there will be my father would actually have his own account, but in that particular firm. So the trades actually gets placed by that broker.
Experienced professional.
Yeah, broker, right? So, and I feel that when it comes to crypto, there are definitely people who want to get involved, but they don't want to use a mobile app to actually trade, because it's online, not even mobile app, even web, right? So because they always think that they may not follow all the good security practices, and their entire investment could jeopardize, right? So there's a lot of people are like that. So there are people today even say that, okay, I don't want net banking, I don't want debit card, only I use a checkbook. I don't want someone to see. And because today the issues are also like that. If you get hacked because you're using net banking, then there is a huge issue, right? So then, like, you don't know where to go, and even if you figure it out, then there is a longer procedure, one step at a time, whether you get the money or not back. It's all like that. So many question marks that will exist. So a lot of people have also seen what they do is they park the bulk of the money in a normal bank without any kind of online access to it, but only they'll keep a few tens of thousands in another bank account where they take online access, because they'll use it for their expenses. So like this, people have figured out their own way of how to handle these kinds of things. But when it comes to crypto, yeah, there are people who are always skeptical about, because it has to be traded online, right? So here we have come up with this concept of a sub broker. So what that means is, so individuals like me, you, or my father, your parents, whoever, can choose a particular person as the sub broker for their account, and that person will be capable of placing the orders on behalf of your parents or whoever is joining. So they don't need to do it online every time. So on the other side, the sub brokers also register with us, right? So, and we have our own due diligence to make sure that they whatever they are at least educated to do as per their client's instructions. And there is also an earning that the sub broker can make, which is a part of our revenues get shared with them, right? So yeah, we are trying to, and we ourselves cannot reach out to everyone who needs this kind of help. So we thought by designing this kind of system, even the people who are brokers now for various things can also provide crypto trade services as a service.
Yeah. So in case you haven't checked out, you can actually log into your Unocoin account, and it is available on web.
Yeah.
So you need to, have a desktop version of your Unocoin platform, and then there you would be able to see under your profile you have an option to become a sub broker, or maybe assign somebody as your sub broker. It's an amazing initiative.
Yeah, so if you want to become a sub broker, then you have to use a web version because there is some formalities that they'll have to do. But if you are assigning someone as your sub broker, I think you'll send it using their mobile number of the person whom you want to choose as sub broker. So then it is available on all platforms. You can do it on the mobile apps as well.
Yeah. We have Sajid's comment on Facebook. Sajid, can crypto move down in the next few months? Do your own research first. Now answer.
I think that's what even I need to say, right? So if you ask somewhat maybe 3 to 5 years what it looks like, so generally I would say in the past, if you see the graph, it looks like it's generally upward trend, right? So just hopefully it will at least stay what it is right now. But in the few months, who would expect modifications of the market because of things like FTX and such, right? So it becomes tougher.
We have one question from Graham M. What is the reason behind decline of volumes in all Indian exchanges? Is it due to regulations?
See, regulations are fully not in place in India yet. But when you always compare it with bullish markets, then the bearish markets do have lower volumes. But in India, again, this is not like a very straightforward, easy to be in kind of industry yet. So different players will have different troubles here, and we don't have like hundreds of exchanges and such. There are only a very limited number of them. And when they actually see the global news where things are going wrong as well, they kind of take a step back and such. But I would say this is comparatively temporary. In India, it could be like global. So there will be a time when the markets actually get back to what it was before. Similar kind of trade volumes and such. It will happen here as well. So I mean, we definitely don't have our equivalent share. So what I mean by that is, if globally, if we are 17% of the world's population, we don't have like 17% of the world's trading volume, if you see it, right? So the trading volume is more in terms of maybe 1.5% only. But yeah, if that is our norm, we will get there when markets return back to normalcy.
You were talking about the bull run, right? And you were saying that, it was good bull run in 2021 because there were a lot of corporations who actually signed up for the concept of crypto.
Yeah.
Now you have to see that will governments, politicians, political parties, or other corporates who are as big or similar to Tesla or Fidelity or institutions like that would sign up for crypto, and then we will be able to understand if it is a bull run or not. But doesn't that make the entire ecosystem very centralized?
See, now we are talking about the price of crypto. We are not talking about the crypto itself. The crypto concept, what it does, it's all like a functionality of it. But when you're talking about the price of it, and we are looking at its price to increase, because it's like you're talking about bull run. So then the question comes down to where the new money is coming from. So why the price would just increase? Like, so there should be someone who is just buying it.
And it could be anybody who can buy at any point of time. Why do you think that all the organizations would come in 2024 in March or maybe in the third quarter and would start putting their money into crypto?
See, that buying any point of time is always true. But now I'll talk about what is the size of retail, right? So what is the type if it is like just the techies, or what is the size of the market when it is corporates? What is the size of the market when governments or maybe hedge funds? So the kind of traction that the people with a lot of money can bring, the same traction cannot be brought by normal people comparatively who are just living on their own, right? So if you see at the end of the day, all of this is connected like a funnel. Like, where will hedge fund get the money from? From a lot of family offices and such. And where is the family offices making money? By employing a lot of other employees and doing a lot of businesses and such. So it's at the end of the day, one is connected to other in one or the other way. But the kind of money that a specific sector of people can bring is very, very different. We may have a 1 million customers, normal retail customers, but just having someone like Tesla or Apple would actually sometimes overweigh that. Because if you have 1 million customer and they are bringing with, let's say, $10 each for trading or $100 each for trading, then we are talking about 100 million, right? That is. But when a Tesla comes, who is having the total market cap of the company itself to be like 2+ trillion, and they would come saying that okay, fine, if I do my 2%, then where? Then we're talking about 20 million, 20 billion. So then we say, so many people, $100, still 100 billion, and we have 20 billion. So the ratio itself we are talking about is 1 is to what? 200.
200. Almost, yeah.
Yeah. So that these people cannot break.
Bring,
They
yeah.
cannot break, right? So it has to be the new set of money that is a different size thing altogether. So now we're talking about ants. So how many ants will make maybe like a size of a goat? Right. So it's too many ants. But yeah, then how many goats will make it to the size of an elephant, and then like that. It's we're talking about a 20 or 100 times bigger kind of funds.
That actually fueled the entire concept of centralization, because you were talking about 0.01 corporations. You talk about Meta, Apple, Microsoft. And then when you talk about Tesla, it's actually 0.001% maybe. But then that brings it tightens the funnel more and more centralization.
No,
comes
when I'm
into
talking about taking an example of Apple, I just want people to understand the kind of multiplier here. But like how, if you say people are decentralized, they exist everywhere. Similarly, the corporations also exist everywhere. So now, if we're talking about all corporations who at one or the other point of time want to take in exposure, then it is still in a decentralized manner only. I don't see it to be anything else, right? But to understand that where the new money is coming from, I don't think people who have invested and have lost some money, they already had that exposure, is again going to bring a lot of more money. That usually does not happen. So, and when it comes to education of the people, I think, I would agree if you say that, okay, a lot of people didn't even know about this concept, don't even know. So that was true maybe in 2013 and 17 bull run to a great extent. But I think when it comes to 2021 bull run, the media and everything, like different ways, and there is not many people who have never heard of Bitcoin anymore. So the information that something like this exists is there with most of the people already.
by 2021 years.
Yeah, so that's not there already, right? So that means it is not like, okay, this person didn't know and that's why he didn't enter. Now he knows he is coming in. That sector is very, very small because most people know. Most people know because, I mean, 2021, we actually have even the normal physical newspapers talking about crypto and Bitcoin every single day. So someone never getting an exposure to something like this is very rare. So which essentially means, okay, people already know that bull run is of 70 is different from 21. But after people knowing it, they have done whatever they have to do. That's all done, right? And there are some corporates who have invested. So who will be the huge new sector who will get into this, right? So every time there will be like in 2023, I think 2013, it was like most of the techies, little retail. In 2017, lot of retail, but little corporate. And in 2021, there was a little bit more corporate, some hedge funds.
But do you expect in 2024, all these are my questions, but I think it's very important. Do you think that by 2024, when we expect a bull run, there would be kind of saturation because now corporates, retailers, intraday traders, hedge people, all of them would actually know, they would know the technicalities of it, they would know how to place orders, they would know how to shift market, they would actually understand the institution of crypto as well.
So I think a lot of the corporates have held back because of the confusions of like how the taxation should work, how the governments would react, how the people would see. So those things existed in the 2021 bull run.
Okay.
I think over the next 2-3 years, that will reduce, right? So they will start understanding that just like how it's they have some real estate and they have some commodity, they will start understanding that this is one small exposure that everyone should be able to take without feeling like, oh my god, I'm getting involved in something like crypto. I mean, that is actually going away. We see about 2016, 17, people are scared to say it's crypto because they were always linking it to, oh my god, then it can be used for a lot of doing wrong activities. So now it is not so. It has reduced it. So that kind of stigma thing that exists over a period of time, and also when people understand that they can make a lot of money, they'll also understand that people can lose a lot of money, right? So it is like, okay, gamble kind of thing, right? So that is also going away. So over a period of time, this should move away from these kinds of stigmas, and it's really important that, for example, for a company like Apple, they would obviously start looking at like 100 different factors. What if they say that, okay, even I'm taking like 0.5% of the company assets exposure to something like crypto, what will it happen to their own stock price, and what does it mean for the actual crypto industry and its prices? So for someone to be very, very powerful of that kind of powerful, and now we're talking about even if it's smaller sizes companies, but multiple of them, which will again add up to something like that only. So they'll obviously be taking a very informative step on like how they want to get involved, right? So over a period of time, maybe it will slowly showing that, okay, fine, it's fine. Now I can still take it, kind of thing will eventually come down for the board of directors or whoever are involved. Once that happens, I think it will take its time, right? So they need to see more stabilized, not someone taking advantages of bad advantages or not getting used for any kind of illegitimate activity. So all of that eventually will make someone as a board to become comfortable to actually take an exposure into this. So yeah, that will take its time to come. But I mean, convincing one retailer is easier as compared to that of maybe like a corporate, and then it's about hedge fund, and then maybe it's about government. So these are like, they have their own thing, right? So and they are completely established and they're doing it good. So to change the way they think and consider something like this, it will take a lot of time and efforts, and they need to see a lot of things happening before they're okay, fine. Like I think this is still okay. Thing. So today the retailer may say, okay, I will tell, okay, you could tell, okay, but anyway, but if it is a big company, it's not that simple. They'll start looking at it, okay, if we invest and if something goes wrong, or if there is some kind of tainted coins, if it has some kind of background, what does it mean? What does the government do? And if they need to sell, then at that time they will topple the market because like the huge companies want to sell. So all of that considerations will at one shot come into picture for them to take a decision like that. So it's not that straightforward.
Thomas said that he doesn't have an Twitter account. Thomas, get a Twitter account because on every Tuesday we do a Twitter space, and you might have missed most of the information, but then in case you join Twitter as well, you might actually get all the idea of the previous AMAs. Anyways, in case you are available on Facebook, you have a Facebook account, you can reach out to our team. Unocoin आपके साथ जुड़ने में कैसे पैसे कमाए जाएं? शेख अल्ताफ शेख गफर जी पूछ रहे हैं, how can we collaborate, come together, maybe in a way which is not related to an investor and an exchange, maybe some other way, and पैसे कैसे कमाए जाएं, basically पैसे कमाने.
See, we are a very straightforward trading platform, and that is what we offer for our customers. So a lot of times it's usually our customers who figures out where to invest, how much to invest, which coins and the portfolio and such. So there is not much that we can help, because when we actually step in to say that, okay, like let me help you, then I'm also making you take the risk, because it always goes together. And if, or else then I'll say that, okay, fine, if depending upon our skill set, we are happy to work with you. You can come to an office and take an interview and see if there is some possibilities of to fill up one of the open positions. That exists, right? But I don't think this question is absolutely not related to that at all. So, so we want to make sure that we continue to be available to our customers to
As an
providing
exchange.
services. Yeah. So then it's generally the users who should figure it out. Yes.
Yeah. We have another question, and I think I'm gonna give this 10,000 Shibani to this person. Today, Rupee coin opened for public through 4 banks. Okay. We mentioned this IDFC, there is Yes Bank, there is SBI and ICICI Bank,
Yeah, sure.
right? When Unocoin will use Rupee digital currency.
I think it's not, obviously it has to reach some amount of critical mass, right? So with right now it is like very pilot kind of thing. It's only reaching very limited number of people.
Mm-hmm.
Like when it comes to IMPS, RTGS, I mean, for everything there was a pilot for a small period of time, 3 months, 6 months, kind of thing, right? So when it becomes like a more general thing where you feel that okay, I'm able to go to a shop and as of today, like how you pay using UPI. When it becomes that simple, then obviously everyone will start providing the services, right? So maybe another 3 months, 4 months is what it looks like to me when this pilot thing is over. And I would say that our RBI is like very forward looking and exceptionally when it comes to doing transactions, right? So most of the developed countries also don't have the networks like how UPI works here or NEFT, RTGS, and such things. It's like really good as far as the transactions are happening within India. It's like
Talking about the population.
no, I'm talking about how easy it is to do a transfer from 1% to 1%.
But that is all because of digitization, right?
That's true. So, but even with a lot of developed countries don't have this kind of infrastructure. Not yet. Okay, so there are countries which call themselves, and if it is an inter-bank transfer, which means like one bank to one bank, it will take 2 days. Even if you are initiating it online, right? So because it goes to some central bank and they'll hold it for a day and then release it. And all of this, a lot of countries, so I don't want to name them. So, but I would say in India, it's like really good. So here, if you say that, yeah, RTGS, the first thing was, okay, if as soon as you do, give me the UTR. That's the first thing they ask, as a proof that you have done it, kind of thing, right? So that is like that instantaneous. It's still really good. So I think the digital rupee is another step ahead, which is actually removing the actual banks itself and wallet providers and allowing transactions happen from wallet to wallet. But as it becomes a little bit more popular, and we obviously will continue to keep our doors open and figure out how to get that on our platform as well. So it should become a little bit more popular before we actually start, because I don't think we will have enough of documentation or permission systems or whatever need to be. That still does not exist. It'll take us little time. So yeah, maybe another 3-4 months. It looks like that.
There's one question that I would like to ask. It's my personal question. So basically, how I have understood, and I think most of the people would have the similar trajectory in terms of how crypto or Bitcoin is adopted in India. So basically, we were of the opinion back in 2018 when you as an exchange and everybody was struggling to get this particular thing legalized or to have a proper framework and at least to have some clarity, right? That is all we wanted. In the last winter parliament session, we got certain clarity, that it has to be considered as an asset class, or SCBI will take into consideration. It has to be the regulatory body for understanding how to make a framework for virtual digital assets. All of these clarities came, right? When Feb first happened, 2022, the union budget was passed, and we got a little more clarity around taxation and around TDS. 1st July, TDS happened. In the third week of October, or around mid-week of October, mid-month of October, we had clarity of this concept note being released, and the entire concept of CBDC. Now, when I talk about all these things that has happened from RBI, right? Do you think that all of these steps towards CBDC or government-backed digital virtual asset is a threat to cryptocurrency fraternity, or it is not?
So I definitely don't think so, right? So because whatever the RBI is trying to do is not something that one should consider it as an asset class. It's more about it's another form of rupee, and rupee will stay rupee. That's what I would, because it's very unlikely that RBI will release a crypto which is like fluctuating or which has volatility. It's no, that's definitely not what RBI would do, right? So even when CBDC comes in, I think it will eventually be like very similar, where like let's say how Paytm works, anything else works, right? So eventually you need to end up like a wallet with the ability to send and receive and safely store. So whether it is CBDC or crypto or anything safe, but when it comes to CBDC, because it is backed by the government, it's central bank is the one who is releasing it. So they would make it obviously equivalent to the fiat currency of the country, in our case Indian rupees. And I think that will end there. It is just like making it easier, faster, efficient, trackable, so they can add multiple things to it to make it more look attractive and more usable.
But it's basically money.
It will be rupee money only, so it's not crypto. And in fact, it will actually help crypto because the crypto can get traded more easily. The transfer of money is easier because these things made it easier. So just imagine if today RTGS didn't exist, IMPS didn't exist, then as Unocoin, I should have asked my customers to go to the bank, do a check transfer, do it and come
I
back,
have
right?
technology here. For example, I go to my dad and I say I want to have a Barbie doll. Okay, it's very costly because it's a Barbie doll. What my father does is he gives me another doll just that looks like Barbie doll so that I don't crave Barbie doll. So do you think that this dummy Barbie doll, which is basically CBDC, is going to make me forget why I signed up to cryptocurrency or that real Barbie doll in the first place?
There's no comparison at all.
There's no
Yeah,
comparison.
there's no comparison.
But then
And this is definitely nothing like fake or anything like that. It's very straightforward. It is coming with its utilities. You just use it for that purpose. You are fine. Everyone is fine. Government is fine. That's the end of it, right? So it is just like another one new mode of transfer of money or new mode of holding money. That it'll end there, right? So Indian rupees only. But crypto is more like, okay, if it is more like the world would do the transactions online because using this kind of thing and what it means over a period of time, and that is the bet that you are taking. So both are absolutely different things. There is no
so
comparison.
real Barbie is real Barbie and the fake Barbie is a fake Barbie.
No, I don't see there is no Barbie here at all. so both has its own things and there is no comparison. It's definitely not apple to apple.
Okay, got it. It was a great session, guys. I think I'll have to wind up. And I actually liked two of the comments here. So as I said that Mr. Fernandez and Mr. Roshan good bit awarded 10,000 Shiva. I knew it was amazing hosting you guys. So many different questions. आकाश जम्बाल जी, क्या होता है ना कि आप बहुत सारा कमेंट्स करते हैं ना तो फिर आपका जो एक्चुअल क्वेश्चन होता है वो मिस हो जाता है, तो आपको ऐसा नहीं करना है ना कि भेड़िया आया, जब भेड़िया आएगा तो फिर पता नहीं क्या हो जाएगा. सो आई वुड रिक्वेस्ट कि आप जरूर कमेंट कीजिए, काफी अच्छे से इंटरैक्टिव सेशन रखिए, बट जो आपके क्वेश्चंस है ना वो आप फटाफट से पुट फॉरवर्ड कर दीजिए क्योंकि अगली बार शायद मैं शिवा आएंगे आपको भी दे दूं. इट वाज ग्रेट होस्टिंग यू सात्विक, मुझे बहुत मजा आया, आई लव इट. एंड वी विल be meeting again through Twitter Spaces on Tuesday. मंगलवार को हम फिर से मिलने वाले हैं. Twitter Spaces के ऊपर तो सुनाई देंगे, दिखेंगे नहीं, सुनाई देंगे, तो प्लीज ट्यून इन करना और बहुत अमेजिंग टॉपिक्स आने वाले हैं. In case you want to grow your crypto community, you can join Telegram channel, Telegram group of Unocoin. वहाँ पर आपको genuine information मिलेगी. So many people asked how to avoid scammers. हमारा ट्विटर अकाउंट जो है, हैंडल जो है वो वेरीफाइड है, ब्लू टिक है, सो यू वुड ऑलवेज रिलाई ऑन ऑथेंटिसिटी थ्रू दैट वेरीफाइड अकाउंट. और तुम लोग $8 भी देने लग गए बिकॉज ऑफ द एंटायर ट्विटर थिंग दैट इज हैपनिंग. यू कैन आल्सो फॉलो सात्विक एंड सनी बिकॉज सात्विक एंड सनी's ट्विटर हैंडल इज आल्सो वेरीफाइड, सो ऑल द इंफॉर्मेशन एंड ऑल द रियल genuine authentic information could be taken from there. Once again दोस्तों बहुत अच्छा लगा, अपना ख्याल रखिए. Until next time we meet and love Bitcoin, love Unocoin. Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
आज बाबूजी के आशीर्वाद से हमने अपनी नई शुरुआत तो कर ली, पर अपना फ्यूचर प्लान कैसे करें?
बड़े बड़े शहरों में ऐसी छोटी छोटी बातें होती रहती हैं.
Looking for perfect start? Get a Bitcoin today. Download the Unocoin app.
Crypto products are unregulated and could be highly volatile. Please be aware of the risks before investing.
जब मैं तेरी उम्र का था ना तो एक सक्सेसफुल करियर, लॉन्ग टर्म प्लानिंग सब रेडी करके रख चुका था, और एक इन महाराज को देखो पूरा दिन फोन में लगा रहेगा.
दैट प्लानिंग तो मैंने भी कर रखी है. Unocoin के साथ।
नए जमाने के साथ नई चीजें आजमाएं। Looking for Bitcoin? Download the Unocoin app.
Crypto products are unregulated and could be highly volatile. Please be aware of the risks before investing.